and welcome to Round Robin. I'm your host, Robin McCormick, with the City of Hampton's Communications and Marketing Department. And today we're going to explore a topic that may be a little scary for some of you, but could be a real convenience and time saver. I have with me two guests from the Hampton Public Library, and they're going to talk us through the new eBooks program. So for all of you who have a Kindle or a Nook or an iPad or an iPhone or many other mobile devices, you can get a book from the library without actually going to the library. So welcome, Caitlin Flanagan and Rita Scrivener. Welcome back. How are you?
Good, and thank you for having us.
Now, I have to be honest, I'm old, and I'm old school. And when I think of a book, I think of a book. But eBooks, it's just really caught on. People got these devices a year ago or more than a year ago that are specifically for books. And then most of the other devices you can accommodate, right?
Yes, the ebook collection is compatible with every popular mobile device, every computer.
Now, if I'm a little intimidated, and I will say too, my first thought was, well, mostly I read a book for leisure. And I'm lying by the pool reading a book, or the beach. And I thought, you really can't take an electronic device there. But I was at the pool last summer, and so many people were sitting there with their devices, and some of them had like a little, like a sun shield kind of thing, or a screen on it that kind of protected from the glare. And I'm like, it didn't stop people. People who do this really like it, right?
Right. They're making a lot of devices with anti-reflective surfaces and whatnot. So I think ebooks are definitely moving outside now.
And I saw even some with a little like plastic cover so that if you got splashed, it was, would protect the device. This is mainstream, right? It's just I'm not mainstream, so.
Well, I think it's all about people being able to do what they would like to do. So for those of us who love print books, they're always around. We've just added another option to what's already there.
And it may be that even people like me who still want that, book, there are times like when you're traveling. I can't tell you, how many times I've been stuck in an airport and you have to go buy a hardback book because that's for high price because that's all you can do. But if you could just download and carry this one little thing, or you finished a book and you're not able to get back to the library or whatever. So I'm going to have you talk me through how I would do this. And please keep in mind, it's new to me, it's new to the folks out there. You have to be really basic, but it's simple, right?
Yeah, the only part that is a little bit more involved is the initial setup.
Okay.
But once you've done that, it's just a matter of just using the program like you'd use any other program or app on your device. And so what basically happens is you'll start out at our website, which is hamptonpubliclibrary.org.
Gotcha.
And we have a link on that website to our ebook collection. And you can think of that kind of like another branch of the library. It's just a virtual branch. And so the collection is independent of the other branches. We have some popular books, as many of the New York Times bestseller list as we can get. And then we have just general fiction and nonfiction and children's and young adult books.
Okay.
And right now the collection is about 300 items total, but we're going to be building on it as we go. And you can, request items for purchase, just like with a print book. You can ask us to buy something.
You can say, can you please get this book into the collection?
And if it's available through our vendor, we'll get it.
All
and
right.
so what you'll start out doing is you need to authorize your device the first time you use it with our collection. And that's pretty easy. You just need to authorize it with an Adobe ID. And those are free. You just go to Adobe's website to sign up for one if you already don't have one. And depending on the programs you've used before, you might already have an Adobe ID.
Yeah, I think I do actually. Okay, but step one is the Adobe, or step one is to download the software or the app?
Well, you would download the app first, and
so I've gone to hamptonlibrary.org, and Caitlin, and I will say this didn't take but a few minutes because Caitlin did this on my phone just a couple minutes ago. So you went to the website and you downloaded the Reader app.
The Overdrive app, and
Overdrive,
it's called Overdrive Media Console. You can find it in whatever app store that your device uses.
But you guys will link to it, right?
Right.
Okay.
Once you download that, it'll prompt you to get an Adobe ID.
Okay.
And once you do that, then you can start browsing through our collection. And I have it pulled up on my iPhone right now, and it's really simple. And once you download something, once you decide to check something out, you can download it to any device that you have on your system. So like if I had an iPad or a Mac computer, you could also download whatever I got on this phone. I could get it on the computer and my iPad too.
And in fact, it might happen automatically, because as you downloaded that to my iPhone, my iPad said, do you want to sync or automatically download it? So you don't even have to do it on the second device, depending on your setup. It just might automatically happen.
Right.
So hold up that phone for just a second, and let's see if we can zoom in a little bit on it. It's just amazing. It's like the little library collection is on there, and you can search, or you can just kind of browse and scroll through the books that you have offered, and it's just right there. It's so cool.
Yeah, and you can browse or search the collection to see if we have something you'll be interested in before you download anything. You don't have to decide whether or not you're going to, get the process started until you've looked. If you like, you can.
So you
try
can do
before
the
you buy.
browsing.
Yeah.
Okay, so you download the app. You have to have an Adobe ID. There was one other thing that I was telling you about. You have to find your Hampton Library card and have a number or a scan. How does that work?
It will just ask you for your library card number when you go to open the Overdrive app, and you just punch the number in and you're good to go.
Okay, so if you don't have a Hampton Library card or can't find your card, you do have to go to the library, sign up, and get registered.
Right.
Okay, that's it?
That's it.
So Rita, have you read books on an e-device?
Yes, I have an Android smartphone, and so recently I read Unbroken by Laura Hillenbrand. It was really, really good.
And really, reading on a little old bitty phone, that was easy?
Yeah, well, you can change the text size to your comfort level, but the default that it came with was fine. It marked where I was. It remembered where I was.
Oh, so when you open it, it goes to that. It's like it's got the electronic bookmark. You don't need to tell it.
No, you can navigate throughout it by just using the table of contents. It's linked. So if you wanted to go back to a particular chapter quickly, you could, but by default, it just picks up wherever you were when you were last in the book.
That's so cool.
Yeah, it was great. Wow. Yeah, I really enjoyed it.
And have you done it too, Caitlin?
Oh yeah, in fact, I don't know why, but I feel like I read more when I'm reading on an e-device. I guess it's because you just literally page through your screen.
And it's always with you. Like, I may be in a doctor's office waiting, and my appointment was at work, and so I have 10 minutes, but I didn't bring my book. But if it's an e-device that you're constantly carrying, you have more opportunities to read. So you think it would be a convenience, and it might have actually encouraged people to read a little bit more.
Yeah, you don't have to remember to bring something else with you. If you think of something that you'd like to read, you don't have to jot yourself a note or try to remember what was the name of that book. You can just see if we have it right away, and if we've got it, you can just start reading it.
Now, you're starting with a lot of the most popular books, and just because you have the title does that mean it's available, or is it like there's X number of electronic copies the way there's X number of hard copies, and I might be on a waiting list?
It is one checkout at a time, and that's a restriction set by publishers. They would prefer that just one person at a time have it, just to match the conventions of a print book. But you can put electronic items on hold so that they'll be held for you when they're turned back in, or when their checkout period expires. Because after the checkout period, you don't have to remember to return things, they just return themselves.
And that could be good or that could be bad, because if you're not finished, it really does go away. You can't hold on to it and say, oh, I'll pay the fine. It expires.
Yeah, it's kind of good and bad. There's no more fines, but it might disappear before you want it to. But if no one else has it on hold, you can check it right back out to yourself.
Okay. Or you can put it on hold and get it back when it's free again.
You sure
Same
can.
as you would for a real, I shouldn't call it real book, but a hard book. A software book and a hard book. So you have mostly popular fiction bestsellers right now, but the collection might grow. What about young adult or kids? Because I know, my kids and that generation is a little more used to the electronic devices maybe than I am, and it's really almost a default for some people.
Right. We've gotten books for every age. So we have picture books. We have
Picture books, really?
We have picture books. We have early readers, so like chapter books, and then we also have teen books. We've got the Harry Potter series. We've got pretty much all the popular series we've managed to get.
That is so good, because with those series, you know, you kind of have to read a lot of them chronologically, and it's hard. I mean, kids can whip through those in a day, and then you have to run back to the library and get the next one or wait for it to show up. So having that electronically, I think, would really help young readers as well. They can go through books.
Yes.
Or having it for the little kids, you know, just they can page through the picture books themselves. I never thought about that. But I was talking to somebody the other day, and she said, my 2-year-old uses my iPad. And I thought, holy cow, mine would have dropped mine or eaten it or something. But, you know, it is, it's there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So do you see this as changing the way people do things, or is it really just another option? Like, there will be people always who want that hard book in their hand, and there will be people who, and sometimes they're the same people.
Yeah, you know, it's hard to tell right now which way things are going to go, but the trend seems to be towards increasing the number of choices rather than limiting them. Things, older things and newer things seem to be kind of coexisting relatively peacefully a lot of the time, because some people do like the older formats. I mean, some people still love LPs, and,
Really?
and there are bands releasing albums on LP just because they know that some people like that. And so there's this
Isn't that
respect
funny?
for older formats, yeah, as well as an acceptance of new ones. So, you know, I don't know. I mean, it could be that some things will end up replacing others, but I hope that there's going to be something out there for no matter what someone wants, that there will be something available.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's like audiobooks in a way. That didn't replace books, but it was an enhancement, and it is really very different. They're in a large, many of them are sort of performances, you know, as opposed to strictly being read.
Yeah, and I would have thought that television would kill the movie theater, and movie theaters are doing all right. So, you know, they're changing their services. You know, they're adding 3D and IMAX, and they're, you know, increasing their offerings to, you know, compete with other entertainment options. But it's all working right now. So.
Wow. So now, for the folks out there who are saying, there's no way I'm going to use an e-device, does the library's foray into e-devices mean there are fewer books available for the people who want to read books?
No, that has not impacted our print purchasing at all. We're
That's
purchasing
great.
the exact same amount of print books.
So this is just really, truly a supplemental way. Are these books cheaper? I mean, I know often they are. If I go to purchase an ebook, it is usually a little cheaper than purchasing a hard copy. So is it a less expensive way to get books for the system, library system?
Not for the library system in general. An individual price will generally be very reasonable for an ebook, but if an institution is purchasing it, the price is generally on a par with a print copy or a little more expensive.
Because, well, they know how many people are going to read it, and that hasn't really changed. And
Right, they're taking into account that they'll need to charge more because the institution will get more. They'll get that book for an unlimited number of people.
We're really purchasing the license so that people can check out the book.
And one of the nice things is nothing happens to the book. Like, how many times have you gotten a book that somebody has marked up, or a page has been damaged, or, you know, you hope that doesn't happen with library books, but it can't happen with the ebooks. They're always pristine when they come to you.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. They can be checked out, you know, however many times the publisher allows, and the software is exactly the same. And, you know, we do lament the damage that sometimes happens to print books, but at the same time, you know, we're happy that they're getting used. But once they go out the door,
Right.
you know, we never know how they'll come back.
So the other thing is, you can do this at night. You can do this on Sunday mornings. You can check out a book when the physical library is not even open, or
Right.
when there's snow on the ground and you don't feel like driving outside.
That's the perfect time.
Yeah, really.
Yeah.
Very handy option. Okay, well, if we've talked people through this, but they're still a little nervous, and they bring their device into the library and they get stumped, are you guys or somebody else there to help people through that initial setup?
Oh yes, well we have help materials. Actually, Overdrive itself has very helpful walkthrough guides that's right on the side of our virtual branch. So they can just look at that sidebar in our virtual collection, and they can be walked through depending on what device they have or whatever instructions they like.
So they're specific too.
Oh yes,
right.
they're specialized to whatever device the person has. But also people have brought in their devices just to have us show them
It's
some
just
things.
Intimidating. You know, I think I probably could do it, but if I can get Caitlin to do it for me, then that's it's just a relief, you know?
Yeah. Any of our service staff in any branch that you go into will be able to help you with your device.
Okay. Well, thanks. This is very exciting, and I'm gonna go download some books as soon as I find my card and know what my number is. It's somewhere. I think I can find it. But thank you, Caitlin, and thank you, Rita, for coming back, because I think this is exciting and new, but also maybe a little intimidating for people. And so, if we can get them over that hurdle, we can get them reading more and reading what they want, when they want, and how they want.
Yeah, that's our hope too.
Great. Well, thank you so much. And thank you for watching. I hope if you have an e-device, and I know most of you out there do, that you'll give this a try and see if this is one more way to make reading simpler and enjoyable and easy for you to do. Thank you.